On this episode of Rich People Wanting to Marry Gold Diggers so that they can lose half of their money.
Thing that has just like awakened in me this year that I almost feel like I'm falling behind in life. I want wife. I want kids. I've never felt that in my life before. I've always joked about it on this show. 29. I've always joked about it on the show, but for some reason, something this year, I've like felt like I'm like failing.
You're having a lot of couples on
Why?
the show. Do you think that could have anything to do with it?
Dude, imagine
Maybe.
just like the subliminal messaging is coming
might
out as
be.
Caleb's guests come on the show.
I don't know.
Couples. No, it doesn't that
It's been really weird.
Is it because of the financial success?
I don't know. I do have financial success. I have business success. I have no one to share with. I don't go to home to anyone. I don't know. Like I feel like I'd like to pass it along. I don't know. Dating's always been easy and fun, and I love going on dates, and I go on a lot of dates, and I don't know, but there's that. I feel like that's a big missing chunk. And my family was in town this last weekend, and I got the most thoughtful, amazing gift from my mom of a photo album. I've never had one before, and it showed my entire life. And I saw my parents with like 7-year-old me. No, 10-year-old me, and they're my age now.
I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. Caleb Hammer is not someone that I thought to be one of the more masculine type of people. I didn't even know if he was heterosexual, to be honest with you. He's not that masculine. And truth be told, I'm not that masculine either. Like, I would like to think of myself as a super masculine person. I'm a heterosexual person, and I would love to be more masculine, but I don't know. I got too much artistry in me to just be super, and tough all the time. Like, I do things that's it's not zesty, but it's not that masculine. So Caleb Hammer saying that he wants a family, wants a woman, these type of things. I'm like, okay, I didn't know. It also goes to show you that this helps really with an understanding on human nature. He can have not all the women in the world. He can have a lot of women. He said he's dating a lot of women. He has a lot of money. He's very successful. Yet he wants to settle down with one woman. I see this a lot with celebrities. They be wanting to settle down with one woman and they can have all the women. I'm starting to think that monogamy is actually more natural than polygamy. I'm starting to think that. Because what do every celebrity who has groupies do? After a while, they settle down with one woman, one girlfriend, one wife.
I am right now
Wow.
had a 10-year-old me, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, but you wouldn't have been able to do all of this with a 7.
I
It would
know.
yeah, that would have been an uphill battle. It could also be part of the holidays. A lot of people feel like around the
That's
holidays.
true.
I
I've been
think
feeling
January
it this year,
1st.
though.
Yeah.
It's been building up this year more than ever before. Like I've, felt like, oh, it'd be nice to have a girlfriend before, and we've joked about that and stuff. I've never felt the way I feel this way.
Man, I'd give it 5 years. Like you want to make sure the person that you end up finding, like you give it
sure.
a few years with them, and like a few years just you two, because once you have a kid, it's like you can never undo that.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a kid no matter what. Like your life will change forever because of that. Like there's no going back. And so like I think it's better to live it up now with someone else.
I'm
And
curious.
are you a single little guy?
Yeah, I'm a single little guy, and I'm feeling a little bit of the pressure too. I just turned 26, and I'm definitely like once I hit that age too, I'm like, okay, like I'm past the first quarter of a century.
Yeah.
I feel like I should probably get on it. But I'm curious for you, what were you looking for previously? Just to go on casual dates and have fun or whatever?
Yeah, I enjoyed casual dates, and I'd be okay if a relationship happens here and there. Just I never really took it like super seriously.
What's preventing you from getting into a relationship now then?
I guess nothing's preventing. Really busy.
Bro, what do you mean what's preventing him now? Do you see the women that are out here? Do you see the women that he interviews on his show? Do you see the couples that he interviews on his show? Why would he? I understand the natural urge, the natural feeling that God has given us to want to have a woman you love and protect, want to start a family and have sons and daughters, building wealth. You want to have sons and daughters to pass your wealth along to. I understand that natural feeling. So that's why I'm not really questioning Caleb Hammer's natural feeling to want to be in a relationship. I believe, and have a family. I think that's the way God designed us. All right. I've also had that very same feeling. By the time I hit 30 years old, I never used to feel like that, and out of nowhere, I felt like, dang, I want to get married, I want to have a family, these types of things. But when you're as successful as him, and he makes a lot of money, I don't know what his checkbook look like or whatever, but he has a financial channel on YouTube that gets a lot of views. He makes a lot of money. When you're successful like that, you got to be careful, and we all know this. So that's what's that's what should be holding him back. Being careful that you're going to marry a woman that's really trying to finesse you, take half of all your hard work, try to get alimony as well, and child support. Ain't nobody got time for that. He wants to have a long-term family, so you got to take your time to find a woman that really is there with you for the long haul. I personally think you need Jesus to guide you into the right type of dad, won't finesse you, that won't try to manipulate you, but really will marry you to be with you and to start a family with you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of fake women out here just trying to get paid.
Because this job doesn't just exist here, it exists when I go home. I'm also beat afterwards because we do so much more than just filming the show, now it's a full-fledged business. And also just, I love spending time with the friends as well. And I don't know, it's a busy life. And
Is that
I
really
guess
what
I
it
just
is being busy?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I go on the dating apps. I try to ask some people out in person as well, which is risky. But yeah.
Dude, I would give it 5 years. Unsolicited Graham advice. Just head down, buckle down, 5 years. You'll
You
be
told me-
34. Yeah.
You
What'd I
told
say?
me a few months ago to just not even go on dates anymore.
Yeah, I think I said that.
You said it was just too risky now.
Yeah. I think
Which
for everything that you're building,
Makes me
I think,
extra nervous.
but I
sometimes.
also think any distraction is a bad thing from taking your eye
But
off.
what's the point of this, right? What is the point of this? I
think it's a short-term sacrifice. 5 years? We're not
Okay.
talking about a 30-year
Graham,
career.
I'm
here.
just saying,
What?
just to give him a little bit of credit.
Yeah.
You have a certain goal and future idea of what you want your life to look like. And maybe Caleb has a completely different dream life down the road. So your advice to him in terms of what you personally would do may not be,
I see
sympathetic towards whatever Caleb
I see the
wants.
spot that Caleb is in right now. I could
Also,
relate closely to it, and I think 5 years. I think you set yourself up for a lot of longevity
Yeah.
over 5 years, and an industry that changes very quickly,
Yes.
where anything happens. I think 5 years solidifies yourself as a paramount person in this space in such a way where you're gonna slowly over time remove yourself from the business. It's not going to be Caleb Hammer show indefinitely. It's going to
we'll
evolve.
see about that.
I think it's going to evolve. You're slowly going to remove yourself and be more of an operator and investor and all these other things, a business owner. And then I think that's the appropriate time. And hey, if someone comes along, I'd be receptive to it. But I don't think it's necessarily a good thing to go out there and,
I think homie's giving him some great advice. It might not be the best advice for him because I don't think it's realistic that Caleb Hammer's even going to follow that advice. He just seemed like it's almost like a gold digging woman who's super thirsty and she just looking for the next cha-ching. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she's looking for the next payday from a man. Who can she? I feel like that's how Caleb Hammer is on the opposite. He's not looking for a woman with money. He really wants a family. He's yearning to have a family. So I don't think the best advice is to tell him not to move forward with that, because you have a woman that's understanding. If y'all have a certain system that's in place, if y'all want to have a family, you have the business and she, takes care of the household. You could actually put a system in place if you have a woman that's understanding enough. The most difficult thing, I don't think, is having a family as a business operator and things like that. I think the most difficult thing in this society is just finding a woman that's not trying to finesse you. That's the most difficult thing right there. That's the scariest thing to me. Because even if 5 years down the line he decides to date somebody, he could still date somebody that he end up marrying that divorces him and takes half of everything that he built. Or sometimes with certain lawyers, even more than half. You see what I'm saying? So he has to be careful, especially when you're super successful financially like that.
enjoy it unless it's something you love.
I love going on dates.
Then keep doing that.
I like going on dates.
Keep doing that.
I'll give you two things.
Yeah.
One, just saw my parents, right? I want my kids to be able to grow up with active young grandparents. I want them to be able to experience grandparents.
But
and two, You know, especially more these days, you tend to date more like, 1, 2, 3 years in your range. It's not the 1950s anymore. If I'm 35 dating my range, talking about the biological clock, if we're just being purely realistic, I know modern medicine's great, but there is that. It's what a lot of people fear. I don't have the biological clock, but a lot of people I talk to fear that. And if I'm waiting 5 years, and if I'm 35 and I'm married to someone, let's just say on the young end of 32, that's probably like
Who's
ticking
to
in
say
their
you don't
brain.
date someone who's 27?
That's probably ticking in their brain. Well, Twitter would be up in arms. Like,
Why?
I don't think they
pedophile.
would.
I don't think anyone.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
think anyone cares.
I don't think any real people care.
No.
No, real people don't care. Terminally online rage bait, absolutely. But, yeah, I don't know.
There's nothing inherently wrong with anything he's feeling as far as being a successful man, wanting to find a woman he loves and starting a family. There's nothing wrong with that. I think as men, we have to figure out ways to get the laws changed where women don't have an unfair advantage, where it's like they can't just rob you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see it like, they married you for 10 years and then they get half. Well, then that seems kind of fair, right? Because maybe they built the business with you, or they were with you during that time and they was doing other things, making sure everything else was in order while you was building a successful business, and then when they divorced, they want half. Well, that makes sense. But for a woman, like, I think of like the situation, I think of the rapper Logic. Was super successful back in 2016, 17 or something like that. He ended up getting married. She divorced him a year later, and I believe like took like half of his money, and I ain't heard about him since. And I was like, why would you get married, bro? She took half of your money. The legal system should not allow somebody who's taken 10 years to build up wealth for somebody to marry you for 1 year and just take half of it, or sometimes more based on the lawyer. That should be illegal, bro. Same thing with people who marry American citizens who marry a woman from another country. I think they've changed certain laws where if a woman marries you, she has to be married to you before, because it used to be like as soon as she marries you, she can get citizenship. I think they changed it to like if she marries you, it's like they have to wait 2 years before they get the citizenship or something like that, because they realized that a lot of women were just using these guys. Some dudes were in the military. They were marrying these women from different countries, bringing them back over, and as soon as they got their citizenship, they just left. Like as soon as they married them, like a week later, the women left, and that was like a trend. It was happening over and over again, and so they had to figure out a way. Like, just can't keep on happening, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think they changed the laws the same way they did that for that. If I'm not mistaken, I need to research that. It's the same way they need to make the laws different for men when it comes to marriage and child support and these type of things. And the only way that's going to happen is through demanding that from elected officials, elected politicians and things like that on a local level, and making our voices be heard on those types of things. We can complain about it, but we need to get it passed into law. Come up with a plan like that. Things have to change, bro. And then men won't be so scared to marry certain women and to start a family with a certain woman. They won't be so scared,